Like I always say, this review of Dragon Ball Super is sponsored by our friends over at Verve. And now on Verve, you can watch not only Dragon Ball Super subbed and dubbed Yu Yu Hakusho, but Verve just added One Piece. That's right, you can watch One Piece on Verve. But it's not just anime. Verve has all kinds of live action movies and content from various different content creators all over the web and all over media, and it works on all your devices, and they're always adding new stuff to the platform. Check it out, the link is in the description. And thus, with the 127th episode of Dragon Ball Super, it is Jiren versus the world, or in this case, the entirety of the remaining members of Universe 7. Let's discuss Super Episode 127, The Jiren Show. Toppo got some, well, a little tiny bit of development the last couple of weeks. Definitely not as much as I would have wanted to, but there are certain signs to me that this show is being rushed to completion. So maybe if it wasn't going to be going away, maybe they would have spent more time with it, or maybe they had no other material. I'm sure we'll find out someday, but that's not what we're talking about this time. On this video, it's my review for Dragon Ball Super 127, Shimari Kuru Soheki Kibo Tabutsa Saigo no Baria, which translates to us Looming Obstacle, Final Barrier of Hope. And of course, that final barrier is, well, who does the barrier more than anybody? 17. Now, this episode, boy oh boy, do we have some stuff to talk about. I'm probably going to be doing a stream either tonight or tomorrow, I haven't decided yet, where we're going to be discussing this episode in detail. A lot of stuff happened. All right, now here's the thing about this episode is the majority of the episode was just fighting. Most of it was just action. It was pretty much action start to finish, but there were a couple of very key emotional moments I'm going to talk about later on in this review that were kind of surprising and kind of shocking. In fact, pretty shocking, in Dragon Ball Super, for at least what we've seen so far. And one of those two wasn't really shocking, but it was interesting, and that was that we got a little bit more insight, a little bit more backstory into Jiren. We're going to get to that here shortly. There was a video I put out just a few hours ago here on the channel where we got some early released images, and one showed what appeared to be Jiren as a kid. Well, there's way more to that, and we're going to talk about it. So, the first, like I said, the majority of the episode's action. We're going to go into play-by-play mode. Jiren's power-up continues from before. He's got this radiating energy, these, lights up with the sinister dark red, darker than Kaioken. Zeno even refers to Jiren burning, like actual fire, and like the energy pulsates everywhere. So Vegeta gets out of the crater that he was in at the end of the last episode, and Vegeta's like, okay, well, now your boys are gone, now you're getting serious. And Jiren's like, well, you can't beat him. So Vegeta goes ahead and powers up and rushes in 3-on-1, Goku 17 and Vegeta coming at Jiren. And it's interesting because I was pretty sure that Beerus said last week that Vegeta was completely out of energy, and I can't imagine that no more than just a few seconds have passed, and Vegeta's going back into blue, going to fight Jiren again. This is what happens when you have different writers every week. When you have a show that Toriyama has very little influence in, he writes the very base storyline. He does not write in the show every week. There is no original manga from Toriyama. Every week you have different writers, and one of the production problems they've had that I've talked about, I did a video about it called 7 Ways to Improve Dragon Ball Super, is to have one consistent lead writer, like an actual showrunner that can guide these writers. Well, in one episode you've got Beerus saying, oh, he's out of energy, then all of a sudden Vegeta's powering up again. It's just, no, it's bad. Like that right there is bad writing. People throw around the word bad writing. Oh, bad writing, this, that, and most don't even know what the hell they're talking about. That is bad writing. I mean, it is. That's what it is. The action was good though. They come in, Jiren knocks them away. Goku uses some ki blast. Vegeta uses Final Flash. 17 fires his ki blast in this little cross position. Jiren dodges. Vegeta lunges at Jiren again with everything. The guy was supposed to be out of energy. Jiren kicks him away. Goku comes in with the Kaioken. Nothing. Vegeta punches Jiren. Jiren catches his hand just like he does Goku. And then he's like, oh, well, that's a good try. I see why you beat Toppo, but you can't beat me. Punches Vegeta in the gut. Vegeta loses his blue form. Goes down. Goku comes in for another big shot. He gets knocked out of the way. Fires a Kamehameha. Jiren counters with his own ki blast. Like, Goku actually warps out of the way. He fires his own ki blast, goes right through the Kamehameha, and knocks Goku to the ground. So, real good exchange there as far as action goes. I liked the action. I really did. but it's getting to be like, all right, where's this going to go? So pretty much nobody can do anything against Jiren, but 17 is going to try, and 17 has really been sort of the MVP of this entire arc. Vegeta was at first, and I would say 17 is right up there because I did not expect them to actually give 17 this much shine. So 17, pretty much threatens Jiren, and he comes in and he shoots a big up-close blast, and he manages to actually rip Jiren's clothing, and I thought that was really interesting. Even Jiren was like, you bastard, like he actually ripped his clothes, which is kind of a cool thing. And I know in the next episode preview last week, people were pointing out to me that, I didn't even cover that, and you're right, I totally missed it. I missed that. So Goku does compliment 17 on that, and they think they might actually have a chance. So they go all in on Jiren again. Vegeta, Goku 2-on-1. 17 fires what looks like a series of green barriers. It was hard for me to really tell what that was. I'm going to have to watch the episode again and really have a good look at it. And Jiren just goes right through it. So Goku tells, Vegeta, let's work together. So basically, they fire these ki blasts from 3 different directions, 17, Goku, and Vegeta. Jiren just takes on them all like nothing, and then Jiren has his own little barrier to protect himself from the ki blast, powers up, and knocks them all away. So it's just kind of, the narrative here is, all 3 against 1, they can't beat Jiren no matter what. Whether it be close range, whether it be long range attacks, doesn't work. Then, out of nowhere, Frieza appears, and he is swinging everything at Jiren. Jiren knocks him away like nothing into a mountain. Then Frieza goes golden, tries to punch Jiren. Jiren just tosses him down like a piece of trash, and he loses gold. So again, we are actually back to where we were before with Frieza, where he's down. He is not out of the Tournament of Power. He's still in, but he's down. So again, the point being hammered home to the audience is that nobody can beat Jiren, including Frieza. All 4 guys, they can't do it. 1-on-1, you can't beat this guy. Even 2-on-1, even 3-on-1. And I would suppose if it was 4-on-1, you still couldn't do it. So then we have a very interesting segment of the episode, probably the most interesting as far as creating new lore for the future. This could end up leading to something in the future, whether it be a movie or if there's a new Dragon Ball series next year or whatever. There's something very interesting that happens here. So we get into a discussion about the Super Dragon Balls, and 17 talks about winning that cruise ship when he wins, but he wants to know about Jiren. So we get this flashback of Jiren as a child, pretty much Vermouth, otherwise known as Belmode, the Universe 11 God of Destruction, goes into the flashback. And this is the kind of stuff I was really hoping we'd see more of in Super. I really wanted more of this stuff, because obviously when you have something like a movie, you've got a limited runtime, but when you have a TV show, you have more time to tell backstories, and I really wanted more of this. So we find out that Jiren is essentially, he's Luke Skywalker. He's Batman. He is the hero going on the hero's journey. We see a flashback of Jiren as a child, and he looks just like he does now, except he's a kid. And he comes home and his village is destroyed. And it really did remind me of when Luke comes home and sees Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru's skeletons in the first Star Wars movie. It's a very similar story. So Jiren's family was killed by some kind of a villain. And they don't reveal who the villain is, but I'm actually deathly afraid that people are going to make clickbait videos now. And because I hate when the community gets lied to, but I can sense there's going to be some clickbait videos about who the villain is, and is it because it was the way it looked. It was kind of like a shadowy figure, and it really reminded me of the first time we ever saw Goku Black. So I'm really concerned that people are gonna make clickbait videos saying it's Goku Black, which is it's not Goku Black, because this happened a long time ago in a different universe. I don't think it's Goku Black, but I have a weird feeling people are gonna say that, and I don't think so. But anyways, this villain, this bad person, killed Jiren's family, but he was rescued by this big, tall man with a beard. And, again, he looked like Obi-Wan Kenobi. He really did. And this master is the guy who trained Jiren on how to fight. So as time went by, they gathered together a bunch of allies. But again, what ends up happening is they go fight against that guy, but everybody dies except for Jiren. Jiren's master dies, everybody dies. So Jiren was left alone again. It's one of those things where Jiren, no matter what, would always be doomed to be alone. And it wasn't until the Pride Troopers had brought him in and recruited him like family, that he felt like he was a part of the family. At least that's the way it was implied. I'm not saying they stated that, but that's the way it was implied. So they also talk about how Jiren was basically betrayed. So I'm wondering if that's going to lead to a different storyline or where that's going to go. But Jiren pretty much realized that justice was his motivating factor, and that's what motivated Jiren to get so strong. And I thought it was pretty interesting how after this story's told, 17's like, "Oh, well, that's interesting. You know, you're pretty human. I thought you were a killing machine." And I thought that was a cool line because if you remember the story of 17 and 18, the artificial humans, the androids, is that they are referred to as killing machines, but then you find out as the series progresses that they're pretty damn human, you know, and they are. And then we find out after that, you know, thanks to Toriyama interviews and guidebooks, that they actually were originally humans. It was stated in the series, but we found out more about it later on, that, you know, they were actually humans that were genetically modified. So I thought that was a cool little ironic twist right there that they put into the episode. Now, as far as the actual wish goes, they don't actually explain what Jiren's wish is, but it's implied that it's a wish that's supposed to have something to do with his past. And I don't know if it's to bring back his family, or maybe to bring back his deceased loved ones, or maybe Jiren wants more power, but I don't think he does, because if you remember a few weeks ago, there was that episode where Jiren said that he seeks something beyond strength. And I actually did a video on it, a speculation video with Tragic and MJ here on Geekdom 101. We talked about it. So it seems to be that Jiren wants things to go back to how they were. In fact, 17 straight up asked him, you know, if you win, can you kind of fix things in your past? And Jiren does not give him a straight answer. So very, very unusual stuff here. We find out more about Jiren, but we don't know what he actually wants. And it could be any of the things that I listed. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. I'm sure we'll discuss more of that later. But I am going to watch the episode again before we do our stream, whenever that is, today or tomorrow, to make sure I didn't miss anything. 17 goes in to fight again, but of course he's no match for Jiren. He prepares a big ki blast, and then 17 creates this giant barrier to try to block the ki blast, and 18 freaks out. So 17 tells Goku and Vegeta, you know, hey, I'm giving up on that cruise ship, thank me later. So he creates this barrier to protect Goku and Vegeta, which I didn't even realize until after the event happened. That's what the barrier was there, why the barrier was there, and there's a huge explosion, and I'm over here thinking, okay, 17 has been eliminated, but I'm like, well, he's not on the sidelines, what's going on? So Goku and Vegeta start to wake up and realize what happened. People are freaking out right now, and so you're meant to think that Goku and Vegeta and everybody lost, but 17's barrier protected them. So again, they don't show 17, and the reality is 17 is dead. Like, not eliminated, 17 is deceased. 17 blew himself up. The Great Priest announces this, that there's no penalty to Jiren because it was 17's decision to blow himself up, and 17 is dead. This was one of the ballsiest moves in Dragon Ball Super. And of course, they could fix all this with Dragon Ball wishes and things like that. I mean, it's still fixable. But this was a very bold move, because even though we've seen people get deleted by Zeno over and over again, this is different. This is more of an actual self-sacrifice, not an elimination and then a deletion. No, 17 blew himself up. And a lot of people, right after this episode aired on social media, were losing their minds. Like, this was very, very ballsy, and I really hope that people were not spoiled, because I know some people watch Dragon Ball Super later on, and it's gonna suck if you get spoiled on this, because I thought it was a really shocking... I'm still shocked. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am still pretty damn shocked at all this. So, yeah, 17 is dead. And will they wish him back? I'd say probably. I mean, I'm not going to BS you. I think they are going to bring him back at some point. But it still held a lot of emotional weight, mostly because it was unexpected. And it really, if they were trying to write a way to get 17 out and have it be like an epic, memorable kind of ending, I thought it was a pretty epic and memorable ending. And it was actually an example of good writing, because they had been building up 17 so much from the beginning when Goku went to go see him. And, you know, they talked about 17 a lot. And now that he blew himself up and you know, for the greater good, for Goku and Vegeta to take on Jiren, you know, it's one of those things where we feel the emotional weight. It resonates because of the fact that they actually gave 17 a lot of screen time. If they had not done that and gotten this to warm up to the character more, it wouldn't have had that much impact. So I'm going to give them credit for good writing. There was some bad writing earlier, and there was some good writing here. We'll see what happens in the future as far as 17 goes. I have seen some people hit me up and say, oh, he's not coming back. I don't know. People always come back in Dragon Ball, you know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. The episode ends with 3 minutes remaining. Vegeta is going to take on Jiren, and that's where we are going. So 3 minutes remaining, and 4 episodes, 128, 129, 130, and 131 remain in Dragon Ball Super, the Tournament of Power arc. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did 17 Sacrifice resonate with you? Do you want to see more of Jiren's backstory? Do you think 17's coming back? I want to know all that stuff in the comments and what you think about this episode. I thought it was good, but it was a good episode, not a great episode, especially in the first half. The second half more than made up for it, though, because we got the Jiren backstory and 17 Sacrifice, and I thought that was pretty cool. So the second half of this episode really did shine more than the first half because stuff actually happened. It wasn't just a fight and an elimination. There was way more emotional weight to it. So let me know what you think. Don't forget, like I said at the beginning of this video, Verve now has One Piece. 800 or so episodes. It's a big series. It's all on there. Yu Yu Hakusho's on there. Dragon Ball Super, dubbed and subbed. And My Hero Academia, which I'm going to start watching soon and doing some seasonal reviews probably. And I'll probably be covering the series in April because, you know, I need a weekly show to dig into. I'm still going to do Dragon Ball content, but it's more fun to talk about a show weekly. So I figure, why not? Why not try that one? See if it goes good. See if y'all like it. Maybe get some new My Hero fans. Or, you know, maybe I won't like it. I probably will, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I haven't seen it yet, but I will soon. So, anyways, keep an eye on your sub box for my stream, whether it be tonight or tomorrow. Hope y'all have a great one, and I'll see you soon.